It was 6:42 p.m. when Malik Townsend spotted the flashing lights in his rearview mirror. The sun was just dipping behind the rooftops in Dinwiddie County, Virginia, casting a golden glow across quiet streets. Kids pedaled their bikes, sprinklers ticked rhythmically on trimmed lawns, and Malik was simply trying to get home. He'd left Norfolk about 2 hours earlier, after a long day with the Federal Joint Task Force. Nothing intense, just back-to-back debriefs, planning meetings, and stacks of paperwork. No arrests, no adrenaline, just cold coffee and ink stains. Now he was 20 minutes from home, cruising down a calm residential road in his black Dodge Charger. No music, no calls, just the steady hum of the AC and the soft thrum of tires on pavement. He wasn't speeding, just easing along at 28 miles per hour. Then came the sheriff's SUV. No sirens, just lights. It pulled up behind him, fast and close. Malik let out a controlled breath through his nose, flicked on his turn signal, and pulled over. He knew the drill. This wasn't his first stop, but no traffic stop is ever routine for someone who looks like him in a neighborhood like this. He turned off the engine, rolled down the window halfway, placed both hands on the steering wheel, visible, clear, deliberate. Every move was slow and intentional. The officer stepped out. White male, stocky, maybe 6 feet tall, black sunglasses even with the sun fading. His hand hovered a little too close to his holster. He didn't introduce himself, didn't offer a hello, just walked up like he was already expecting trouble. "You live around here?" he asked. Malik didn't turn to face him. He kept his voice calm. "I do." The officer tilted his head, skeptical. "License and registration." Malik nodded. "My wallet's in my jacket on the passenger seat. Registration's in the glove box. I'm going to reach for them." Slowly. The cop said nothing, just stared. Malik moved with measured control, retrieved the wallet, pulled the registration, placed them both on the dashboard before handing them over. "Mind telling me why you pulled me over?" Malik asked. The officer barely glanced at the documents. "You were creeping through the neighborhood." "Creeping?" Malik repeated. "Yeah," the officer said, as if it were an actual charge. "Slowing down, looking at houses, someone called it in." Malik blinked. "I was going 28, just trying to get home." "You got anything in the car I should know about?" Malik held his gaze. "Excuse me. I'm asking if there's any reason you're acting nervous." Malik resisted the urge to laugh. "I'm not nervous. I'm tired. Been working since 7 this morning. I'd just like to get home." "Step out of the vehicle." Malik froze for a moment. "For what?" "I gave you a command." He inhaled slowly, tried to stay grounded. "Officer," he began, reaching toward the passenger seat, "I'm a federal agent, FBI. My badge and ID are in this wallet. If you'll just take a second." "I don't care who you say you are. Out of the car, now." The words weren't shouted, but they hit like a punch. It wasn't what the officer said. It was how. Malik opened the wallet, held it out through the window. Gold badge gleaming in the amber light. Clear ID. "Special Agent Malik Townsend, Norfolk Field Office. I'm not a threat. I'm just trying to get home." The officer didn't even glance at the badge. "I've got a male refusing to comply," he said into his shoulder mic. "Claims to be FBI, requesting backup." Malik's jaw tightened, not in anger, yet, but in control. This wasn't confusion anymore. This was intentional. He didn't move, kept the badge high, eyes steady. "Sir," he said, voice solid, "you're making a mistake." The officer's name tag read, Ellison. Not a rookie, but not a supervisor either, just experienced enough to feel untouchable. "I'm not going to ask you again," Ellison snapped. "Get out of the car, hands where I can see them." Malik's voice was calm but firm. "I've identified myself. You haven't told me what I've done wrong, and you haven't even looked at my credentials." Ellison's face twitched. That tone, measured, calm, and knowledgeable, cut deeper than defiance. It was the tone of a man who knew the law better than he did. "You think flashing that fake badge gives you the right to run your mouth?" Malik didn't answer. He unbuckled his seatbelt slowly, stepped out of the car with his hands raised. "I'm complying," he said, "but listen closely. I am not resisting. I am not a threat. And you need to get your supervisor here, right now." Ellison stepped in and shoved Malik in the shoulder. Not enough to knock him down, just enough to send a message. But Malik didn't budge. No flinch. No step back. "I'm not warning you as a civilian," Malik said quietly. "I'm warning you as a federal agent. Every second of this will be reviewed." Every move. Ellison's breathing was heavy now, chest rising like a fighter's. "You threatening me?" "No," Malik replied. "That's not a threat. That's a warning." There was a long, tense silence. Then Ellison grabbed Malik, spun him around, and cuffed his wrists behind his back. Phones came out. Neighbors stopped what they were doing. A woman watering her flowers froze. A man with a dog stood still. A teenager recorded from across the street. Malik made brief eye contact, silent. "Let the camera roll." "I want to be very clear," Malik said loudly, voice steady. "I am Special Agent Malik Townsend of the FBI. I have not resisted. This officer is violating protocol and detaining me without cause." "Keep talking," Ellison muttered. "We'll see how tough you are in the back of my cruiser." Then crackling through his radio, "Back up en route. ETA. 2 minutes." Ellison leaned in close, turned Malik toward the hood of his own car. "I don't care who you say you are," he hissed. "You don't belong here. And if you're lying, you're going down hard." Malik didn't blink. He wasn't afraid, but he was done being silent. Malik's voice was low, but firm, measured like the weight behind each word mattered. "You don't get to decide who belongs where," he said. "That badge doesn't give you the right to disrespect mine." Ellison didn't answer. He just clicked the second cuff into place, tighter than necessary. Malik took a slow breath, eyes locked forward. The whole street had gone quiet. Even the cicadas had stilled. But in the distance, headlights cut through the dimming air. Backup had arrived. With it, a reckoning. The first cruiser came in fast, lights spinning. A second followed closely. Then a third, rolling up behind them like a silent warning. The lead car stopped, and a tall, sharp-eyed woman stepped out. Lean build, mid-40s, dark brown hair pulled into a no-nonsense bun. She moved with confidence, not ego, like someone who'd been in charge long enough to command respect without raising her voice. Lieutenant Karina Voss. She scanned the scene. A black man in handcuffs, calm but firm. A puffed-up patrolman glowing with adrenaline. A growing circle of neighbors with phones in hand, cameras recording, and a badge wallet sitting untouched on the roof of the car. "Status?" she asked. Ellison straightened up, voice too loud. Suspect was acting suspicious, claimed to be FBI, ignored commands, non-compliant. Voss looked at Malik, studying his expression, the steadiness in his posture. Then she spotted the badge case, walked over, picked it up, opened it. 2 seconds. That's all it took. Her eyes widened just slightly. She looked at the badge, then at Ellison, then at Malik. "Special Agent Townsend?" she asked. Malik gave a single nod. "That's right." Ellison's mouth fell open. "Wait. What?" Voss snapped the wallet closed. Her tone sharpened. "You cuffed a federal agent?" "He refused my commands," Ellison stammered. "Driving slow, looking at houses. Someone called it in. I followed protocol." "Protocol?" she repeated coolly. "Which part of protocol says you ignore an ID and slap on cuffs before verifying anything?" Ellison opened his mouth, but nothing came out. Voss turned to Malik. "Agent Townsend, are you injured?" "No," Malik replied. "Just disrespected." She nodded tightly. "Officer Vega, get those cuffs off him. Now." A younger officer stepped forward, hesitating only a moment before obeying. As the cuffs clicked open, Malik flexed his wrists. Red marks were already forming. "Are you armed?" Voss asked, scanning his hip. "Off duty. No weapon." She nodded again, all business. But Ellison wasn't done. He stepped forward, still trying to regain control. "Lieutenant, with all due respect," he didn't clearly identify himself. He had an attitude. "I was responding to a 911 call." "Was the vehicle stolen?" She interrupted. "No." "Was he aggressive?" Ellison shifted. "No." "Did he resist?" Ellison paused. "He had an attitude." Voss raised an eyebrow. "An attitude?" The silence was crushing. "I want your body cam footage," she said. "Now." "It's It's in the car. Then go get it. As Ellison trudged off, Malik stepped a little closer to Voss and said quietly, "You just saved him." She didn't look surprised. "I've seen that look before. Good cops, bad cops. That wasn't policing. That was ego." Malik glanced around. The neighbors were still watching. The teen with the camera hadn't stopped recording. Malik wasn't embarrassed. He was aware of what nearly happened and how different this could have ended. When Ellison came back, holding his body cam like it was a shield, Voss took it without a word. She pressed play. The footage lit up. Malik's voice came through, clear and calm. "You live around here?" "I do. My wallet's in my jacket. Registration's in the glove box." "Officer, I'm a federal agent. FBI. I've already identified myself." The video didn't lie. His tone, his body language, every word. Controlled, respectful, professional. Voss's face hardened as she watched. Her jaw set, her eyes narrowed. She didn't say a word until the footage ended. "You violated protocol," she said flatly. "You escalated without cause, ignored lawful identification, unlawfully detained a federal agent." Ellison flushed. "Lieutenant, he had an attitude. He was provoking me. That's not how stops are supposed to go." "You ever consider," she cut in, "that maybe his attitude came from being pulled over in his own neighborhood for doing nothing wrong?" Ellison froze. "Enough," she said. "I'm reporting this to internal affairs. Effective immediately, you're relieved of duty. Pending full investigation." His eyes widened. "You're serious? You think I'm sweeping this under the rug? This whole street saw what you did. Phones caught it. That body cam backs it up." Ellison stood in shock. Accountability wasn't something he'd expected. Not this fast, not this publicly. Voss stepped closer, face to face. "You handcuffed a federal agent for absolutely nothing. That badge doesn't make you bulletproof. It doesn't give you permission to rewrite the rules when your pride gets bruised." Malik glanced at his wrists, still red, still sore. "I'm not here for apologies," he said. "I want accountability." "You're about to get it," Voss replied. Just then, the teen stepped forward from the sidewalk, still holding his phone. "You got it all?" Malik asked. The kid nodded. "Every second." "Good. Keep it safe." The teen's voice cracked a little. "You okay, sir?" Malik didn't answer at first. He looked at Ellison, who now stood frozen, staring at his radio like it might save him. It wouldn't. Then Malik turned back to the teen. "I will be," he said. Voss turned to Officer Vega. "Take Officer Ellison into custody. Standard procedure. Miranda rights, cuffs, same as anyone else." The street fell into a silence so sharp it cut. Even the birds had stopped. Officer Vega blinked. "You want me to arrest him?" Lieutenant Voss didn't waver. "You heard me." Ellison's face went pale. "Wait, what? You're arresting me?" "You assaulted a federal agent and falsified your report," Voss said coldly. "That's not just a violation of protocol. That's a crime." Malik stayed silent. He didn't need to say a word. And as Ellison was slowly turned around and cuffed, the same way Malik had been minutes earlier, he finally looked away. Not out of pity, but because justice wasn't about watching someone fall. It was about making sure they couldn't drag others down with them. The crowd didn't cheer. They just watched. Tension thickened the air, heavy and still. The metal of the cuffs clicked shut, echoing like a verdict. Ellison didn't fight. He didn't argue. He simply stood there, too stunned to process that his authority had limits. Voss remained composed. No smugness, no satisfaction, just duty. "Put him in your cruiser," she told Vega. "I'll handle the paperwork." Vega nodded, still trying to register the shift in power. Malik stepped back toward his vehicle, rubbing his wrist before leaning against the door. Across the street, the woman with the garden hose hadn't moved. The man with the dog had started recording. This wasn't just a traffic stop gone wrong. This was visibility. This was truth in motion. Voss approached him, professional, hands behind her back. "I'm sorry, Agent Townsend. No excuses. What happened today never should have." Malik nodded tightly. "I appreciate that. But let's not pretend this is rare." She didn't blink. "It's not. But today someone saw it. That matters." The weight of what had just unfolded lingered in the cooling air. She asked, "Do you want to file an internal complaint or have the Bureau handle it?" "I'll go through the Bureau," Malik replied, "but I want full access to the footage. All of it, yours, his, every angle. You'll have it, already secured." He nodded again. "Mind if I see it from your cam?" She hesitated, then tapped her body cam, playing back the moment. The screen lit up between them. There he was, seated calmly, offering ID, voice even. "Officer, I'm a federal agent." Then Ellison's reply, "You think I care who you say you are?" "Out of the car now." Malik watched it like a mirror of another version of himself, one who didn't flinch, didn't shout, didn't step out of line, even when everything in him was screaming to. Click, click. That sound again, the cuffs locking. He closed his eyes for just a second. "Send me that?" "Already did." Behind them, a voice spoke up. "You were real calm, man." Malik turned. The teenager, Jaden, still holding his phone, still filming. "Didn't yell, didn't swing, didn't even flinch." "I shouldn't have to," Malik said. Jaden looked down. "If it was me, I don't think I could have kept cool." Malik stepped toward him, steady. "You don't owe anyone your calm to stay alive, but sometimes staying alive does mean staying calm. That's not right, but it's real." The boy nodded, eyes full of respect, and something deeper. Understanding. "What's your name?" Malik asked. "Jaden." "Well, Jaden, keep that video safe. Not for me, for you." "Yes, sir." Malik turned back to his car, placing his hand on the roof like he needed to feel something solid before moving again. But before he could climb in, Voss called out once more. "Agent Townsend," she said, still by her cruiser. "I'll need a formal statement. Here are the station." He looked down the block. Some neighbors were starting to drift back indoors. A few lingered. Jaden was already uploading the video. "I'll come in tomorrow," Malik said. "Right now, I just want to go home." Voss nodded. "Understood." As he opened the door, he glanced back. "You think anything will actually happen to him?" Voss didn't answer right away. Arms crossed, voice even. "I can't promise punishment, but I can promise truth. And sometimes that's where accountability starts." Malik nodded. Realism, not closure. As he slid behind the wheel, she added quietly, "Thank you for keeping your cool, for showing a better standard than he ever gave you." "I didn't do it for him," Malik said. He shut the door and started the engine. The streetlights blinked on as he pulled away, slowly, calmly. Not because he was free, but because he was focused. The air through the window hit his face like a reset. Back at the scene, Voss watched his taillights fade. Ellison was in the back of the squad car now, red-faced, silent. He looked at her through the window, mouthing something, still trying to make sense of what just happened. Voss stepped to the door. "You're being charged with unlawful detainment, excessive force, and failure to follow ID protocol." His eyes widened. "Come on, Karina. You're not serious. You think you're above this?" "I made a call based on behavior. I thought he was lying." "No," she snapped. "You didn't think. You didn't listen. You didn't check. You didn't care. You weren't looking for truth. You were looking for control." He gave a bitter laugh. "So now I'm the villain." "No," she said, stepping back and tapping the window. "You're the guy who thought the rules only applied to everyone else." She turned to Vega. "Take him in." As the cruiser rolled away, a few neighbors clapped. It wasn't loud, not triumphant, just a slow, quiet acknowledgement. Not for the arrest, for the accountability. Jaden stepped beside her. "You think he'll lose his badge?" Voss looked at him. "Depends on who's watching." He nodded, still holding the phone. "They're watching now." She didn't answer, just nodded once and walked back to her car. The next morning, Malik's inbox was full. Messages from bureau officials, journalists, internal affairs. Everyone wanted a statement. He didn't respond. Not yet. Instead, he sat at his kitchen table with a cup of black coffee and watched Jaden's video. Again and again. The commands barked. The restraint shown. The moment Voss stepped in and didn't pause injustice, she ended it. He closed the screen and stared out the window. Justice isn't always loud. Sometimes it's just someone showing up and doing the damn job. So if you're watching this and thinking, that could have been me, you're not wrong. It happens every day. But change? Change starts when people in power are held accountable, no matter the badge, no matter the uniform. So speak up, record, share, stand firm. Because respect isn't about a badge, it's about how you wear it. And the next time someone thinks their authority means immunity, remind them, real power doesn't need to prove itself.